The rail network is a vital part of our transport system, and when an incident occurs, it may surprise you to learn that the first person on the scene is often a motorcyclist. Claire went to investigate.
Now, Brian, you employ incident report managers, don't you, on motorcycles?
We certainly do. Incident response managers for the rail industry were brought in November 1998 to speed our response to incidents in the railway where trains were being delayed. We have a responsibility as a company to make sure the path is available for a train to travel. As an incentive, we're penalised pounds per minute that trains are delayed. So we tend to look for initiatives to improve our performance, which ultimately gives Railtrack an improvement to their customer. We put initially 5 motorcycles into the rail industry in the north of England in November. We put 3 into Manchester and 2 into Leeds. The response was tremendous, 18 to 20% improvement in our performance. So we then increased the fleet, and we've now got in excess of 15 motorcycles on the road, ranging from bikes based in Scunthorpe in the east, across to Manchester in the west. We have motorcycles operating in London that are looking for or restoring services when bridges are damaged. And the fleet's growing because they're proving extremely valuable.
Obviously, it's a service that's of paramount importance, and you've got to have the skills to be able to do the job when you get there. But motorcycle skills, you know, what kind of training are they going through?
Safety in the rail industry is paramount. We have to have a safe operating environment. So we took the principles of rail safety and we've put them into the motorcycle operation as well. As I say, we before a person gets an interview to become an incident response manager, the first task is to assess their motorcycle skills. They don't get an interview if they don't get through the initial assessment.
Bikes that I've seen downstairs predominantly are off-road bikes. Presuming there's quite a bit of off-road riding that they'll do.
It depends on the tasks that they're sent to deal with. The control centre that we're in now allocates the work to the staff. It could be a simple task of moving a train by hand using hand signalling or winding points, or it might be a major incident that we're sending them to. The range is very, very diverse.
It sounds quite difficult to be able to find people who've got all those qualities rolled into one.
Very difficult because of the principle of using volunteers, which to me is obviously the best way to go. We have to look for people within the industry who are skilled already. So it is difficult to find people, but we have a steady stream coming through. And the training requirement is another step as well, is another hurdle to get through. But it's paramount that we operate safely all the time.
Well, David, as we've seen, the fleet's predominantly Transals, but you have here a shiny new Varadero.
I do.
You
yes,
do?
I'm one of a few riders that are going to trial this bike to see whether it's an improvement over the Transalp or not an improvement, basically.
Yeah. Now, some of the areas that you have to access, you know, we were talking to Brian before, there's some fairly off-road places. This has obviously been marketed in that way, but maybe as not as off-road friendly as perhaps.
Well, I don't really know. I can say that the Transalps aren't too bad, but this chappie I don't really know, but I'll soon find out in the next few days.
You'll soon find out. What kind of mileage would you be doing on something like this every year?
Well, I do somewhere in the region of 1,000 miles a week. That's probably half of that is commuting backwards and forwards to work.
Yeah.
The other half is on the job, of which maybe 100 miles a week of that is on the rough stuff.
Yeah. Now, obviously, we said before, training's paramount. The training you go through is really quite strict, isn't it?
It is, yeah. We all have to be experienced motorcyclists to start with. We must have had our test passed. We then go on to the Honda MAC, which is the motorcycle appreciation course, which, as you're probably aware, is run by Honda, and it was a freebie, and still is, I believe. And you get a week's training. You go out and play on a motorcycle with a nice policeman.
You got a big smile on your face. I bet you enjoyed yourself.
I did, yeah. It was wonderful, yeah, beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in terms of kind of handling of a bike, what do you need to get out of a bike for your job?
How exactly do you mean that? I mean,
what demands, you know?
Reliability.
Yeah.
Absolutely. The thing has got to go for mile after mile after mile in all weathers, in all conditions. basically. We can't have anything that's going to let us down.
Yeah.
If we do, then we'll spend most of the time off the road, as in broken down, when we need to be, because our job demand that we respond to an incident, whatever it may be, as quick as we possibly can within safe limits on the road, and then also within safe limits once we get to the job. So we need a bike that's going to get us there. And to press, the Honda Transalp has proved to be possibly the best bike we've had so far. Which, but
We
there
shall
again,
see.
we're trialling this chappy and we'll find out.
Chris, you've got some serious kit attached to this bike here, but it's about, how much lighter would it be with that all up?
About 2 stone, I think.
Right, I was just going to say
It
about
weighs
2
quite a
stone.
lot.
What have you got in
That'll do.
here? What kind of equipment do you carry with you?
Full set of light tools. We have a lot of points that are hydraulic and electric, so we have the handles that you can operate them manually with, which are all telescopic, are fit inside. Light bulbs,
Inside
fuses.
here?
Yeah.
Let's have a little look. Go on, open it up. Go on, you can show me.
Oh,
Unless it's not too tidy.
Well, it's its usual state of
Right.
compartment boxes, oils,
So you can,
signal lenses.
you can actually carry quite a lot, can't you?
Most of the stuff we use, because it's electrical, tends to be quite small and
Yeah.
come in nice little units. So yeah, you can carry
alright.
quite a lot of common stuff.
Now, how do you find the Transalp?
It's a lovely bike. I started off on an Africa Twin, and it was just too much of a beast with all the weight of the panniers on,
Right.
especially if I've only got little legs. So it was a bit of a beast, but the Alps did the job almost as well as the Africa Twins did off the road, and they're a lot easier to ride on the road through traffic. So,
Yeah, absolutely. What's the remotest kind of area you'd have to access then?
pardon?
What's the remotest kind
The
of area?
remotest it. Some of the little places out over farmers' fields up round the quarries in the Peak District and the Hope Valley.
Yeah.
Out
So you
in
need
Derbyshire.
something that can kind of cope with all that as well, don't you?
Yeah, running through farmyards and up over little access bridges and fields and stuff.
So you're a fit young gentleman, aren't you?
Yes, very.
Absolutely. Now, obviously, a more serious side, on a bike, you're going to be the first person to actually get to a scene.
Yeah.
You must have seen some pretty hideous things. Don't want to sound morbid, but you must
No,
have seen
not
some...
really.
No?
No, not really. Yeah, the worst ones that we've done have been when wagons have gone under railway bridges and fell over sideways and,
Right.
or whatever and made a bit of a mess.
An interesting job, though. Fair to say, it's not the
Yeah.
same. No, same twice.
Oh no, it's great. Every day is different. You never know what's going to happen. And the trouble is you don't know whether you're going to get up, when you're going to get up, and when you're going to get home. Because when it hits the fan, you've got to be out there.
Yeah. In all weathers.
Yeah.
That's why you togged
That's
up to the
why we
nines.
togged up
Got
well,
your
yeah.
thermals on.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Do with a set of
full set.
heated handlebar grips.
You don't realise how much having the handguards on the handlebars, how much difference it makes.
Really?
Until when you get back on your own bike that doesn't have them, or a tester bike that doesn't have them, and you suddenly realise how wet your hands get and how cold they get just from being in the wind.
Yeah, I was going to say, this is obviously your bike during working hours. You can't take it home and play with it. What have you got at home?
I've got a TDM 850 at home, and my wife's got a little Kawasaki ER5 that we play on at weekends.
You are a true biker, aren't you, in every sense of the word? And you enjoy your job?
Yep.
You do?
I had a car once for about 6 months. Apart from that, I've used a bike every day for work since I left school.
Now, Martin, can you enlighten us as to what's the most common call-out you have? If you tell me it's leaves on the line, I am not going to have it, okay?
We predominantly working on the signalling equipment.
Right.
So anything with regards to signalling, the points, the track itself, that's predominantly what we deal with. So you could have an indication whether the track's right one because the track's faulty or the signals are faulty, and that would be our domain which we would go repair.
Obviously a very important role.
In the terms of safety for the railway, yes, as recent events have has obviously shown.
Absolutely. In the future, do you see more managers like you getting out on machines like this?
We are very limited to our safety requirements, being one man and being a single team on a bike. But the response aspect and the getting there quickly for the job is obviously of paramount in this present company.
And a slight amount of enjoyment along the way, I'm quite sure.
Just a little bit. I mean, when we're out in the snow and the rain, it's not so clever, but We have as many good days as bad days.
Yeah. Well, you've got the gear on to keep you warm. You've got the top gear there on there. You'll be all right, won't you?
The provision of the equipment and the machines have been very good.